Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sam, and I'll be doing the free video for August 27th, 2021. So, as always, on every Friday, I just finished making the premium video for the folks in the gold room. Pretty easy video to make because most things were relatively well aligned, and there's some things that still have juice to the upside. There's going to be one chart that I'm going to show you here at the end of this that is really important, that has a lot of juice to the upside, that hasn't broken out yet, that's very significant. Normally, I try to bring you guys a little bit of a bigger picture perspective, like, hey, let's focus on this sector because this and this. But for this one, I'm just going to bring you some stocks. I think we have a bullish market. I want to keep my head on my shoulders, not be too crazy with the bullishness, but it is a bullish market. Powell punted today, so the taper is announcement is at least off for some time. In my view, they're going to have a very hard time ever tapering. They're going to have a hard time ever getting out of this box that they're in. And we got a chance to see that certainly today, just because they were able to punt because of whatever reason. And I'm sure they'll be able to find plenty of other reasons. Delta, gamma, vega, theta, all the variants in the world will happen before they raise rates. So, or not even raise rates, taper the purchases. So we got a bullish market on our hands, and it looks like it could continue. So with that said, let me show you just a couple of picks here that I think are aligned pretty well. All that play well with various ideas that we have in the markets. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have about 5 or 6 picks. So I'm not gonna do a super deep dive. I think everything here is pre-selected to be self-explanatory, and it all looks pretty well aligned to me. So I'm going to start here with AMD. This is one of the better looking semiconductor setups that I see. Got way too hot, flags into the 21, so basically acting as trend. The trend oscillator says it's trend, so that's always a nice bonus. You're coming off a 195-minute buy signal, which still is active in the context of daily trend. It's gotten over this major level here at 109 to about 110. Did so on decent volume today, especially in the morning, for a summer day at least. And so this puts it in line to get to about 114, 115. Right? That's just the next target. Can it get higher than that? Yeah, for sure, because you have a slingshot squeeze here. So that could propel you basically to new highs. But just be aware of the fact that there is going to be a next target, 114, 115 AMD. And I just like the way that semis look in general. So I have another semi for you here. This one is, it's going to have earnings, so you can choose to just dodge it, play the group SMH or just AMD in general, which doesn't have earnings. But AVGO here, the weekly squeeze is very ripe. That's a very strong view of a weekly squeeze in the context of a slingshot daily squeeze, which now has an upward bias in the context of trend. Nice little green buoy down here, signifying a buy signal, which is still active. So 2 ways to play it. Well, 3 ways actually. AVGO, AMD, or just by the field SMH. I think all of them should work. Next step is going to be DOCU. I do like DOCU here. It has the issue of earnings, so maybe you could just choose to sidestep this one if you don't like playing earnings ideas. But one of the stronger trends in the market without question, and it gave me a buy signal. So I really couldn't ask for much more. Earnings is next week. Be aware of that. You have a slingshot squeeze here, active daily buy, holding trend the whole time. It's not very common that you'll get a buy signal and hold trend. That's extremely rare and extremely strong. So here on DOCU, not very much higher on my target. 304.58 would be the target. But it's one to keep on your radar because it actually has a 2-day squeeze as well. And I think that selling put credit spreads here makes a lot of sense, especially for myself. I'm planning to hold those through the report anyways. So that's what I'm doing there on DOCU. Next up is going to be Shop. I was trying to buy Shop today. It's a little bit cumbersome just because it's such a wide spread and such a big product. But again, I'm looking for things that have comparable setups, and this one has a very comparable setup to Shop. It's a little lower quality, but very similar. That's because this is Shop. Let me go to Shop. Let me go to the next one actually. Oh, excuse me. I was gonna say, sorry, got it mixed up here. This is Shop. It has a very similar setup to DOCU, I should say, which is not as strong. So it is correct. So it looks a lot like DOCU actually. Unlike DOCU, this did have a little bit of time underneath the trend oscillator there, but you get the same buy signal while holding your daily trend. So I like this one as well. I think it has a 2-day squeeze too, and then this kind of slingshot action here on the squeeze can be pretty powerful. So I actually don't have a fill here yet, but I'm looking to short the 25-15 put spread. I was looking to do it for next Friday, but if I don't get filled probably on Monday, then I'll just do it for the monthly series. I think you can play this any number of different ways. It's a very explosive setup, just because shop is so volatile, and this is one of the better alignments that it has seen. This is the first buy signal it's had in months, you can see. So shop there I think looks good for put credit spreads. One that popped up on my scan was ORCL. Pretty clean setup here. Again, you'll kind of see a theme here is the things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for things in trend that have squeezes and that have at least 195-minute buy signal. So I won't explain this one too much. I just kind of want to pepper you with some picks today, and then you can look at these on your own and see which one you like best. Honestly, these have all been pre-selected, so they all should be very good, and then you could just choose which one you like best from there. And then lastly, do I give you an explosive pick? Let me give you two kind of wild cards. I've given you a few setups that I think look very consistent. Anything in XLC, anything in XLK, Apple, all of those products should continue to do well. And I think they're actually aligned even better going into next week, so keep an eye on those. In terms of one that's a little bit more of a lotto ticket, but that has a pretty decent level of explosivity here setting up, is actually ROKU. So in my opinion, this is an exhaustion pattern. This is not a trend pattern. This is a completely different style of trade than what I've just shown you, which is usually just trend trades, and those are going to be the best ones. In this instance, this is going to be lower probability, but you can risk less and typically make a lot more if it does play out. So one thing that I'm looking for on ROKU, you see this previous buy signal, magenta then green. That's what I'm looking for again, right? So I have that now, right? I have the magenta and the green, and it hasn't done anything. Previously, it went from about, let's call it 400 to about 490 off that singular buy signal. I'm looking for 375 here. I think that's a good place to target in the near term. I wouldn't necessarily look for more than that, but that is still about 20 bucks higher from here, and I think you can get it by next week. So I do have quite a few things here in ROKU. I have some unbalanced butterflies at 375. So those actually benefit if nothing happens. And then I also have short 355 put spreads just to add a little bit more delta kick to the trade. And then one last one. This is actually the worst chart in the market, but it was such an interesting chart to review for the premium folks that I think I should bring it to you. And then you can make a decision as to whether you want to trade it or not. But this is, again, it's more of a lotto trade, but there's enough here for me to justify it. And I want to show you what I'm looking at. Now, again, on this one, I just want to be full disclosure. Like ROKU, I have a position on that, and I've added to it. On this one, I don't have a position, and if I play it, I may not. But if I do decide to play it, I'm going to play it with way less risk, and then just risk the debit paid, and it's going to be a total lotto. But let me show you what I'm looking at here on XLE, because, again, this is the worst chart in the market, in my opinion. But one thing that I'm looking for here, you see this previous buy signal? If you actually look inside, so you had a daily buy signal here, and I was curious how that played out in terms of the intraday trend oscillator. What I want to see is the green line over the red, and notice that on this buy signal, the red line stayed above the green the whole time. So it wasn't totally correct. This new buy signal, however, has led to the green crossing positively over the red. So it's a completely different signal, part one. Part two, see how this signal got caught up at the middle? If it was going to fail, if a buy signal is going to fail, it's going to fail at the middle, exactly like this. However, notice that this one has gotten above the middle. So that one already has more juice than anything that we've seen before. So you have this and this as a clear pattern change, and this has been going on for months, so it's not like some Mickey Mouse 5-day chart or something. The next part that I see here is this low and this low. Price went down. See the indicator? Here's your low. Here's your higher low. You see how the indicator went up? So the indicator goes up when price goes down. That's not common. and that's a major divergence and usually implies a lot more strength. And then the last thing here, you see this low here on the daily. You see this lower low here on the daily. Again, price goes down. This indicator, it's another momentum indicator. There's a low. Right, let me draw it into cleaner. Ugh. That'll work. There's a low. There's a higher low. Indicator goes up. Price went down. Momentum typically leads price. So in this instance, you have a divergence here, here. You've gotten the cross. You've gotten above 50 here. You finally did close above the 21 decently with good volume. So there might be a nice little lotto trade setting up here in the energy space. I would treat it as such because it's not the most consistent setup, but hopefully you can see all the little discrete yet very powerful signals that I'm seeing here on XLE. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. So that's what we got for you guys. A little bit of a longer video this time. I thought it would be quicker, but we actually covered a few more tickers than we normally do. And, just decide if any of this fits into your plan. Keep in mind, it's a bullish market, so you want to stay sighted towards that side of the market. And then when you see a pullback coming, I would probably just flatten out, not try to short this thing. This thing is difficult to short, so I wouldn't do that. So check out these names. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Also, before you leave the page, be sure to leave us a like or a dislike on the video. I'm pretty sure either one helps us with the algorithm, whether you like us or dislike us. As long as you interact with us, I think that it helps us with the videos. So if you like our content, right, it's totally free to like the video, and it's free to subscribe to our page. So help us out and do that if you haven't already. And then if you really like our content, come and check us out at simplertrading.com. I think we have the best group pretty much anywhere. So if you like to have fun, make money, learn things, talk stocks, that's what we do every day. So we'd like to see you there. Come and check us out, simplertrading.com. And aside from that, guys, I will see you for the next video. Have a great weekend. Cheers.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me